Now what will it be? Death or exile?
Hey, what's up there, film Exiles fans? This is your boy Sal. Just got back from seeing It Chapter 2. Overall, I thought it was a fine to good movie. This time, obviously, it's about the adults. You know, the first It 2017 film, which was directed by Andy Muschietti. It was about these children and their trauma and the terrorization of the town and on them from this clown slash otherworldly being. And then this film picks up 27 years later. Not sure how much I have to explain because it's based on one of Stephen King's books, one of the best writers of all time, one of his most popular books. And even this film is a second iteration of the adaptations. First being there was a 1990 miniseries which followed a similar structure. This time around, we got Andy Muschietti returning. I would assume, I'm doing this sort of off the cuff, but I would assume a lot of the behind the camera work is the same people. And we have, for the cast, we have Bill Hader, James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain. Those are the big heavy hitters. The rest of the cast isn't really, there's smaller character actors. Starting off with that, I guess, performances. I heard a little bit of talk about Bill Hader before I saw this movie, and I have to say, he was really good when it was emotional and he really had to strike a chord with you. But the humor overall hit or miss, wasn't really for my sensibilities. You could tell that they were really trying to make this a crowd movie, not a crowd pleaser, but just like a enjoyable with a bunch of people, a communal experience. So there was a stop and halt here for the humor kind of thing here or there. Overall, I thought McAvoy was fine, Chastain was fine. I really thought that the guy that played Mike and the guy that played Ben out of the Losers Club, I thought those two guys, Ben is the fat kid that grows up into like a handsome model type, and then Mike is the black kid whose parents they died in an apartment fire. So overall, I thought, and then there's Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise slash it's the otherworldly being that's terrorizing all the people in the film. And I think he's great, but to lean into or to kind of switch over, transition into another category, I think Bill Skarsgård is great, but I think that the structure of the film is trying to, each cast member gets their due. Everybody's equal. There's no straggler. There's no one left behind, except for one character. And, if you know the story already, but there is one character who's kind of left off behind. But the movie goes with this, character by character structure. They go through the story, and each character has to do something alone. And Pennywise appears, Bill Skarsgård appears in these vignettes, I would say. And this is the bulk of the middle of the film. And it's sort of like a live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing. Like, some aspects of the film are elevated because of this, and other aspects are left behind. They're sort of a second tier, almost mediocre aspects of the movie, because this movie is it's committed to this structure. And that goes to the runtime, the 2-hour 49-minute runtime. The runtime is that way because of the structure of the story and the way that Muschietti decided to take it that way. Because I've never read the book, so I don't know how that would go about. Score. I believe this was Benjamin Wallfish. I thought it was hit or miss, like other things. It was okay. Some parts I really felt were great. Others were like, it's not really there. And then cinematography, I felt like in the beginning was like, as far as it's something we always like to emphasize amongst the film exiles. Photography, this movie's great. They knew what they were doing. There's great coloring. There's great composition. But cinematography, telling the story through the images, I felt like that really picks up as the film goes along. In the beginning, it's like, it's fine, it's whatever. I felt like there was a lot of great scene transitions and transitions within scenes. Because of the way that they're trying to communicate 27 years prior and 27 years later, I felt like a lot of that was really well done. And then, I feel like this film, for me, I feel like it's fine to good. I feel like it accomplishes what it wants to accomplish. As far as scary, it's not real groundbreaking. You feel the beats, you go through the motions. There's only a handful of times I can say where I was like, gotcha. And there was like a subverting of the expectations on what scares are, but other than that, you can feel, it'll get you the first time, but it won't really get you the second time, because you can feel the beats. Muschietti and co, they really just, they follow the beats. And there's a big deal about the casting. All the older people, they look like, there's like this whole thing, like they look like the kids. And while I feel like that's cool and all, I think I would have preferred getting the best possible people instead of people that looked exactly like the children that they had cast for the first film. Not to say anybody turns in an awful performance, but I feel like that's a weird priority to set, because it doesn't really matter. Like it's an artificial, arbitrary, poof, like fake thing that doesn't really exist. Like it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't really serve any story purpose, like for them to look exactly, other than like it's them. I don't know what else I could possibly say. It's a good, I think this whole package, these two films, the runtime, the 2-hour 49-minute runtime, I feel like it's really smooth. Like I was really dreading it. It's really smooth up until the film wraps itself up. I was just like, it was like the Lord of the Rings, like the 5 endings, only just less great. It really starts to weigh on you in like the last 20 minutes. but I thought that it was a really smooth. And you know, the film, the first film was about 220, and for me to say that the last 20 minutes of this film being a 2 hour and 40-minute film really says something. I'm not sure why they took it as far as they did. There was, you know, you get to a point with a movie and you're just like, all right, let's get to the, you know. And there was a couple times where I was like, oh, it's over, and then they keep doing something else. But all in all, I thought, you know, I thought Pennywise was good. A lot of the aspects of the film were really solid. I can't really say I loved the movie or anything. There were some visuals for sure that were very inspired and very creative, and some of the scare set pieces, some of these, you know, were I think they were very inspired, very creative. Sometimes I felt like the film got too big, in the sense that like it was being this epic thing, whereas I felt like it really thrived in being this intimate, smaller story about a small town. Yeah, so overall, It Chapter 2, you know, I'm just doing this on a whim. I saw this movie just on a whim, spontaneously. So overall, yeah, I won't. I was about to rate it like the film Exiles do that. But overall, you know, I'd recommend it. A good movie night, crowd movie. It's a good experience for that, I'd say for sure. Who knows what I'd say a week from now, a year from now. This is just my off-the-cuff thoughts. So you can find me at @Salazar2049. It's your boy Sal from the film Exiles. And, you know, the Exiles net and all that. So catch you later.